Alright, these quest names are getting weirder. This one is called Roads Paved, and then it has what I call, well, they're just up and down straight lines you can do with shift backslash. That's straight up and down line. You use them in math for like finding the absolute value of something. You probably use them for other things as well, but I don't know for sure. Roads paved, and the A in paved is that weird like little fish symbol again. Is that omega? It's a Greek symbol, right? Like it's epsilon? I don't know, whatever. And then after those two upright lines, like there's a space between roads paved and is the word sacrifice, I believe, although the F is literally just an up and down line connected to a horizontal line in the middle, like you might see in Tetris. And I didn't even know that was a thing you could type with your computer. I've perused the alt codes and I've never had to specifically type that symbol. It looks like a big capital F, but it doesn't have that top part of the F, the top horizontal line. Anyway, given to us by Alphino, level 89, and we have just crossed the way. We've just taken the air shuttle, the air jump, the wind confluence that Estinian made for us. And as Yashola and Alice said, we must continue. Notice the change in our surroundings. Perhaps this is the memory of an altogether different world. Yeah, it is much more flat. Like the land itself it doesn't seem like rocky. Just like flat dirt. But there's a pathway leading up, and we'll see where we go. It would be prudent to learn more of it then. Tread carefully, lest we lose our footing in this sand. What time is it? All right. Give me just a second here. Did I hit level 90 with Sage? I don't know why I keep doing it. I'll probably, you know what? I'll switch over to White Mage, even though its damage is its damage dealing capabilities are basically the same as Sage, except it doesn't heal me when I do it. Sorry. I have no easy way to mute that. I apologize. No easy way to mute. Give me another second here. By that I mean like 20 seconds. I should have done this before the video, but I'm not a smart person, so don't at me. Can you at people on YouTube? I've never seen anybody like tag or at somebody in the comments. That doesn't mean that doesn't happen. Just I cannot remember seeing it, so I don't know if it's possible. Yeah, let's go White Mage and mount up. I don't have that stupid visor on my face anymore. I mean, it's not stupid. I just like being able to see my character's eyes. The expressions that they might do. Ooh, we got some interesting monsters here. We have basically what are they called? It's a beholder. We have basically a beholder, but it seems to move on the ground with little tentacles instead of floating. And there's some other things up here we'll describe when we get to them, but Urion J and the others have found a monolith, I'm going to call it. It's an upright stone, and it has some lines, or it has some language of some sort written on it. Excuse me, sorry. Were it not for the violet crystal embedded in its surface, 'twould appear as ordinary stone. A curious script hath been etched upon them. Alas, it is not a language with which I am familiar. I cannot say I recognize it either, says Yashtola. Nor I. The dragons, from what I recall, preserve their knowledge in song and eschew the written word entirely. So we may assume this is the work of another race, one we have yet to encounter, says Graha. Meteon claimed the dragon's world suffered a slow death, seeking the release of oblivion. What life we find here, like as not, doth wend its way towards a similar end. Alisei, however, is scanning the horizon. What do you suppose that is over there? The beholder? Where? Oh, there's like a dark purple-black portal thing. I'm not sure. It's hard to make out at this distance, but its surface seems to bear the same crystals as this monument, sorry. Oh, there's a tower. There's like a spiral tower. Meaning there's a chance we may find whoever built them both. We should go and have a look. Come on. Okay. We head toward the tower. Run from the shadows. Don't come at me, beholder thing. Alright, so these other things, they have a halo above their head. But it's like orange. They seem to have... Oh, they are basically like that other worm TV box thing that I described earlier, but they have that halo over their head, and they have kind of a shroud over them. You can only really see the bottom of that worm kind of figure. And then we have a ghostly figure, which kind of looks like a smaller version of those guys. There's like a shadow being underneath the cloth, and we gotta talk to it. Hail, travelers. This is a most unexpected occurrence. Hello there. Is this your home? Says Alisei. Indeed it is. Forgive me, I had forgotten. An exchange of introductions is expected when first meeting those with whom one is unacquainted. And he changes his form, pops his head off, now it's just a floating sphere, and then pops it back onto himself. Okay. When the vibration of vocal folds was still required to convey our thoughts and intention, Ia, E-A, I believe, was the pronunciation used when referring to our people. Though it is not entirely applicable given our present state, you are welcome to use this appellation. As for nomenclature to address my individual person, I believe it would be pronounced Kopkugd. Charlie O. Paul H hyphen Charlie O. Delta Gamma. Yes, Kopkugd. Kofkud of the Ia. We have encountered beings that communicate intermittently through thought, but never one that is wholly without voice. I presume we are having this conversation via the medium of ether, or dynamis, as this space is suffused with vast quantities of it. Fascinating in either case, says Y'shtola. I gather your response to my presence is positive, then? That is well, for there is something I wish to ask of you. Like yourselves, we Ia are ether-based life forms. Therefore, it may be surmised that your bodies are of comparable biological composition to those we once possessed. I have a number of queries regarding your subjective perception of the five senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. In total, I have prepared 198,712,180,827 questions, I believe he means. That's rather a lot, isn't it? Says Graha. My apologies. I have omitted a great many details necessary to understand the nature of my request. Though we dispensed with our corporeal vessels long ago, we have rediscovered a need for the flesh, and have endeavored to recreate our erstwhile forms. However, all pertinent records have been lost due to the passage of time. Take, for example, the nervous system. It is well within our power to recreate, but we have no frame of reference for sensations once experienced by our people, which may compromise our ability to interact with our physical environment. And the reason you need to regain corporeal forms? Why, to bring an end to our existence, of course. Yeah. 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 Though need is perhaps too strong a word, it would be a simple matter to unmake ourselves through use of etheric exsanguinators. Exsanguinators, but such a death seems inadequate. The traditionalists among us believe proper death requires an inescapable sense of impermanence in one's final moments, an experience found only with bodies of flesh. Ystola looks to me and I nod to her. We should very much like to hear more of your plans. In exchange, we will answer any questions you have to the best of our ability. Such an exchange of information would indeed prove useful, he says as he pops his head off into a floating ball and it comes back to attach to him. His halo is mostly white, with a little bit of tinge of some color in it. Very well. To ensure efficacious exchange, I hereby invite you to our home. Yes, the abode of the Ia, where we traditionalists prepare for our demise. I presume your consent to answer questions is indicative of a tacit approval of our plans, in which case your cooperation is greatly appreciated. I must caution you, however, to be mindful of the Ia wandering the desert. Their desire for bodies of flesh could be described as overzealous. How, if you would follow me? Yeah, they would have attacked me, had I been in their eyesight. This is going rather smoothly. Not that I'm complaining, mind, says Alice. Even so, we mustn't forget their aim is oblivion, much like the dragons, says Ystola. Though I fail to see why a civilization so seemingly advanced would choose to unmake all they have created. At any rate, we will find no answers dallying here. Let us be on our way. Bow, 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 bow. Alright, we go northeast. Past a beholder who aggroed. We have a Luminian that looks like it would be a paladin with a shield and sword. Very basic. But it's like its entire body is just made up of these little discs of stone. All kind of floating in the shape of a humanoid with this sword and shield. We have some more, I'm calling them monoliths, with some writing on them. And the angry brethren of the Ia that we should avoid. And Kofkudg and my friends are standing in front of a... Let's just let this happen. Wait, we're all facing this way. Welcome to our abode. Most of our compeers you will find remain idle in their domiciles, though your quizzical expressions indicate my phrasing is unclear. I speak, of course, of the violet crystalline constructs hanging from the stone structures there. You say they remain idle, but what of your work to regain corporeal bodies? An astute question, and understandable given your finite nature. We have no desire to pursue our research, for it is no longer necessary. If, in our idleness, we are struck by sudden inspiration, we rise to pursue said inspiration to its conclusion. That is why I was present for your arrival, and why I continue to engage with you still. But while the others are not currently in a motile state, rest assured they would not object were you to disturb their respite. You need only cast your thoughts towards one of their crystalline domiciles to communicate. And we continue walking to the north. So, okay. There is a... I'll start with the basics here. There's a mound of earth, of dirt, of land. From that, there's also kind of some stone pillars, like supporting it, but there's kind of a there's an obtuse angle of stone that goes up at a diagonal, and then has an angle, obtuse angle, and then goes straight up from there, and then a more or less 90-degree angle back kind of toward the way it came, just horizontal to the ground. And then from the end of that hangs a kind of like chrysalis shaped, crystallish looking thing pointed at the bottom, but yeah. And then there's some fluorescent writing on the ground here in like circles around it. There's some lines of whatever language on the mound itself and on the arm, I'm going to call it. There's a bunch of these. We're kind of just running through them. So we'll talk to the first one that's closest to us here. Oops. You cast your thoughts toward the crystalline domicile, but there's no response. Go to the next closest. Talk to me, dang it. You wish to speak? Very well. Pray, a moment, if you would. Okay. That's 2 of 4. Talk to 2. We're 1 for 2 right now. Batting average of 50. 500? Whatever. I think it's 500. That's what they do in hundreds, as far as I remember. Why we seek our end, you ask? If you wish to know, I will tell you. Just a moment, I must remember. What form did I take when I last emerged? And then the last one. Kind of the shape of a telescope, if you will, like a microscope. You have the base, you have like the arm that juts out from the base, and then you would have the microscope lenses and such attached at the end of the horizontal arm that comes. I think that's pretty accurate, actually. Ugh. The strange moaning comes and goes, but soon fades into silence. Alright, 2 for 4. There's a pool here. And the pool has a hole in the bottom, but I can't swim down. Wait. Can I? Was that control shift space? Is that just testing. Not that I would probably want to die that way, but we come upon Kofkudg. I don't see my scion brethren. Maybe they're talking to other pods, whatever. Did your inquiries yield satisfactory responses? Yeah, 2 for 4 ain't bad. I see. If they failed to answer, then it is likely because their minds have unraveled due to prolonged idleness. They are not but concentrated ether now. Worry not. There are no others who have need of those lodgings, and they will not prove a hindrance to remain as they are. But more importantly, you said some few did answer your request for an audience, yes? I imagine they will be with us ere long. Roads paved. Weird symbol sacrifice is complete. This video is complete. Hope you enjoyed. I'm going to keep going. I'm having a good time.